Developing now as we come on the air from Eureka. First, the local coffee shop forced out.
Having us be closed right now is pretty much a death sentence.
What really happened in this coffee versus cannabis battle? And the muggy, windy weather. Could we be in for a change? Our meteorologist Jessica Birch is standing by in the Weather Center. Plus, the new reporting tonight, the crackdown continuing, the latest bud bust by the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office. Also, the milestone for our local police department.
Most proud of the service that we've provided for 125 years.
We'll show you the anniversary. Also, it's been nearly 50 years since man walked on the moon. Tonight, we take a look back at that one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. North Coast News at 6 on ABC 23 starts right now.
Weed speculation is a constant fear for a lot of businesses here.
She's capable of moving into a lot of different spots in Eureka. We can't. We're really limited with what we can do because of the permitting process with the city.
Having us be closed right now is pretty much a death sentence.
A beloved local latte shop out because coffee closes, but not because they wanted to. The lease for the coffee shop in Old Town Eureka not renewed to make way for a cannabis lounge moving in. Well, good evening, and it's great to be with you here on this Thursday. I'm Scott Rates. Some saying that it's just plain fair capitalism. Others concerned about the cannabis industry possibly pushing out other local businesses. ABC 23's Nazi Javi joins us now live in the studio. Leading us off tonight, Nazi, is because coffee moving because of weed?
Hi, Scott. It depends on who you ask, really. Until recently, because coffee has been a fixture in the Old Town atmosphere, providing folks with a hometown vintage feel, serving up coffee and positive vibes. But it's right next door to a very popular cannabis dispensary, EcoCan, and the EcoCan owner wants to expand. The owner of Because Coffee says the landlord gave her a notice to vacate so EcoCan can put in the area's first cannabis smoking lounge later this year. And now people are fired up on both sides. So I spoke with both owners of those businesses. Here's what they tell me.
We just want to make people really good coffee.
Katie Hennessy opened this cafe with passion, sweat, and tears. But now the tears are flowing for a different reason.
This isn't Vegas. We don't need to implode a building to start a new business here. There are vacant spaces all over.
Jeff Piel owns the cannabis dispensary in Eureka, and they're expanding.
She has her loyal customers, and, they're upset with us because, we're, quote, forcing her out. And we made her a significant offer.
Can you say what the offer was?
I'd rather not say, but let's just put it this way. Her request or demand was absurd. I wouldn't pay that to my mother.
What I've been offered as relocation help is I've been offered $2,500 when I move out tomorrow, and $2,500 30 days later, and $5,000 90 days later.
A total of $10,000, which she says just isn't enough to pay for relocation, infrastructure modifications, and lost income.
Summer months are that's how we sustain the rest of the year. No business in Old Town would sell for less than $35,000, and I don't want to sell or move, so they should probably be more generous than just bare bones offers.
Right.
I'm not for sale. I didn't want to move.
Like I told her, I'm not buying your business. I'm taking over your spot, and I'm offering you some money to help you make that transition.
But there are several vacant spaces within steps of the EcoCan forefront, so we asked why they chose hers.
It's going to be a smoke lounge, and one of the reasons that space is ideal for us is because these two spots used to be the S&K's card room, and so it has ventilation for smoking.
Hennessy says she's worried that her story could be one of many to come as the pot industry grows.
This is not a good decision for all of Eureka. If businesses can be snuffed out for another business to take an occupied space, that discourages people from putting in improvements into any of these buildings.
Look, this is the way I'd explain it to people is, this is business, right? Businesses have to do certain things in order to prosper.
They should have done this ethically. They should have done this in a way that didn't end a business. The weed industry needs support, but it also needs to be a good industry and good business. And what happened with them is just bad business all around.
And there's a GoFundMe set up for Hennessy to help with relocation expenses. The Cannabis Lounge is expected to open in August if all is approved. Scott?
All right, good information there, Nazi. Thank you for that. Moving now to the muggy, windy weather here on the North Coast. Strong winds at the Eureka waterfront at this hour, making those ocean conditions very choppy out there. Could it be threatening our weekend plans? That's the big question. First Alert meteorologist Jessica Birch joins us now live from the First Alert Weather Center. How long are these windy weather conditions going to last, Jessica?
Well, we are feeling really strong winds right now all along the coast. Take a look at this. Right now in Eureka, 25-mile-per-hour plus winds, but it kicks up even more as we head into Crescent City by 7 p.m. Now, extending all the way to 10:30 this evening, we're still sticking around with those strong winds. And heading all the way into tomorrow, Eureka's winds are going to start dying down by 9 a.m. just a little bit. Crescent City still seeing strong winds even into the morning. Now, it kicks right back up into tomorrow afternoon. This is the trend we're seeing as we head into tomorrow as well. And then taking a look at current conditions right now, we're still seeing warm conditions along Eureka, cooler conditions near Crescent City, but we are feeling hot and muggy outdoors right now, so keep that in mind for your outdoor plans.
All right, Jessica, we thank you for that report. Well, going from weather now in the warm weather to turning up the old proverbial heat, the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office continuing its crackdown on illegal marijuana cultivation, serving warrants on 2 unpermitted grows today. The first one in the Bayside area, deputies say that they found a big 2-story structure with multiple growing rooms. They took out nearly 500 plants there. Deputies say that the Planning and Building Department found code violations. The other warrant served in McKinleyville, where deputies say that 2 greenhouses were filled with nearly 400 plants. More building code violations found in that one as well. No arrests have been made. Charges are pending, though, with the district attorney's office.
It's something we're very excited about. You know, as a police department, we're very proud of our history.
And you heard him right there. That's Arcata Police Chief Brian Ahern talking about a big celebration coming up for his police department on the 31st. The Arcata Police Department has been policing the city streets of Arcata for 125 years. Hard to imagine that. Our own ABC 23's Lisa Librignac joins us now live in the studio after speaking with the police chief out there. So, Lisa, why is this celebration such a big deal?
Not only is the Arcata Police Department going to honor their hard work and dedication since 1894, Police Chief Brian Ahern shares with me what he's most proud of.
Our community members and the relationships that have been developed for the last 125 years.
Ahern says it feels great working for this beautiful city, and inside the Arcata Police Department, old photographs of former police chiefs of Arcata hang in honor of their hard work. The Arcata Police Department invites you to celebrate with them on the Arcata Plaza on July 31st at 4 p.m. Scott?
All right, thank you, Lisa.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Yeah, it was certainly a big moment. Still gives me goosebumps when I watch that. Moving now to another anniversary, 50 years since the historic Apollo 11 moon landing. On July 20th, 1969, American astronauts Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon's surface. This as hundreds of millions of people tuning in around the world to watch. 50 years later, the amazement hasn't worn off. The anniversary spurring a lot of reminiscing about the historic mission. But it has also given rise to a film and touring stage show that are presenting the events of half a century ago in a new light. David Daniel takes a look at that new light.
The images are iconic, yet new. Todd Douglas Miller and his team crafted the documentary Apollo 11 from a massive trove of 70mm film footage rediscovered in the National Archives after half a century.
I mean, it was like having your birthday every single day, walking into the office, and I would, get to see things that no one else had seen before. It was extraordinary, and to be able to try to weave a story out of that was, just the highlight of my career.
The auto-targeting was taking us right into a football field-sized crater.
They also uncovered some 11,000 hours of uncatalogued audio recordings, shedding new light on one of the most famous events in history. To reach a wider audience, a shorter Apollo 11 First Steps edition is playing at science centers and museum-based giant screen theaters.
I call them the cathedrals of cinema. They're just incredible screens. So I knew that this imagery would appeal to that audience.
We copy it down, Eagle. And tranquility base here. The Eagle has landed.
Charlie Duke was Capcom on Apollo 11, the first person to talk to men on the moon. Duke walked on the moon himself on Apollo 16. Now he and Apollo flight director Jerry Griffin are advisors on Apollo 11, the immersive live show.
It's different, I think, because it's a live performance. It's a play. It's never been done before as a play. You either been watching archival footage or you listen to somebody talk about it.
This show is going to entertain, and it's going to educate, and it's going to inspire people, I think. The people that were not around in 1969, that weren't born yet, I think they'll get a new kind of a fresh look at this thing.
One aspect of the touring show that appealed to Griffin and Duke, the collaboration required to pull it off.
So I think the teamwork and the striving for a goal when you're fully committed is what the legacy of Apollo really is. And I hope that comes through.
And of course the nation itself is backing us, so we just sincerely hope that we measure up to that.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
It was such an incredible moment, and it was such a moment where people, no matter what their differences were, they came together. And I can't tell you how much we need that today. Coming up on North Coast News, we have local sports with Andy Krause, the Humboldt Crabs, going up against the Reading Ringtails. We'll bring the latest scores from last night's game. And we're talking about that windy weather on the North Coast. Plenty of blue skies and sunshine out there, also very muggy. Our first alert meteorologist, Jessica Birch, will be breaking down the weather forecast a little bit later on in this broadcast. But first, the former extremist hoping to prevent the spread of terrorism tells her story to Congress and to our Scott Thuman.
You worry that you might not get out alive?
I didn't expect that I would have to run for my life in a field of landmines, and I didn't know that my kids and I would have to climb through barbed wire while being shot at by Syrian snipers.
The time is 6:11. We'll have those stories and more in less than 2 minutes. I'm Scott Rates. This is North Coast News.
The world's top athletic bullfighters. The world's top athletic fighting bulls. Fortuna Rodeo presents Bull